Hi everybody, welcome to my video from my perspective. In this video, I'd like to introduce a new project that we're starting. It's the restoration of a 1927 Falcon Knight. I'm going to leave a link in the description to a Wikipedia page that talks about these old antique cars. This is again a 1927 slash 1928 car. Based on the model number, it truly is a 1928, but I believe it was manufactured in 1927. So I have about 14 pictures to show of the car before we even start anything. And so that's really what this first video is going to consist of. So with that, let's take it away. So here's the first image. And this image is from the location that I bought the car from. And this was on my first visit. I wasn't really sure if I was going to buy the car. There was several that I was looking at. And after I took a look at all the different vehicles, this is the one that I settled on. So we talked about it as a family and agreed that this is the car we would purchase and start to refurbish. The next picture here shows us the car as we're picking it up, ready to bring it home. And so we've got it loaded on the trailer. It was pretty easy to get up there. The car doesn't run at this point, but we were able to push it up onto the auto transport trailer. And probably the most important thing to notice here is this car was located in Buffalo, New York. Now I picked this car up on February 27th, 2018. And in the look at the weather, it's absolutely fantastic. My son's out there wearing just a light hoodie, and that's all I have on. So people that think that weather in Buffalo is absolutely terrible, especially in the wintertime, I think you really need to give it a second chance, because it was a fantastic drive home with that car. It took us about I live about 60 miles south of Buffalo, so it took us about an hour and a half or so to get home. On the way, we stopped at a McDonald's and was able to get some lunch. And while I had the car in the parking lot, I had an old timer come over and look at the car and was talking to me. So it was a pretty interesting conversation. He was really excited to see it. So the next image, we actually get the car back home safely. It's sitting in front of the workshop where it's going to be sitting until we finish the restoration on it. Here you see my youngest daughter standing in front of it. So the one thing you may notice is it looks like there's been some restoration work on it, which there has been. But apparently whoever started that, which is not the owner that I bought it from, but whoever started that must have stopped at some point. And they never finished it. So this is the state that it's been sitting in for, I want to say roughly at least 4 years. Okay. The next image shows my 2 kids hanging around the vehicle. So this is from the passenger side. And while it doesn't have a hood on it, I will say that there were a box load of parts that came with the vehicle: front bumpers, hoods, gas tanks. So there was just boxes and boxes that came with it. So I'm not really sure how much I will have to purchase as part of the restoration, but I think it should be minimized. Here's just another angle with both of my 2 kids sitting in the front seat. All right, this is a view of the back. You can see that there is the driver's side bumper that's not attached. I do have that. It was one of the parts that came in a box. The fuel tank is missing, but again, I have that as well, so I'll end up having to just mount that. You'll notice that there's absolutely no rust on this vehicle. So whoever did some of the prior restoration did a fantastic job on it. This is from the front. This is the mascot that sits on as the radiator cap. I don't think this is the original, because I also have 2 others that are actually Falcons. I believe this is the mascot off of a Knight, a Willys Knight. Here you see the original wood spoked wheels. I think they're pretty cool. I think they're in really great shape. I have probably a minimal amount of cleanup to do on the front end, and then the back end, those will have to be sanded and stained. Here we have the engine. It's a 6-cylinder sleeve valve engine. It's a different technology than today's current pop-up valve engines. From my perspective, this has already been rebuilt at some point. There's some new technology that's incorporated into the engine. These used to have a vacuum pump gas system. Now you can see here on the right hand side there's an electronic gas pump, fuel pump. There's a new carburetor down below, and even on the other side there's you can see that there's some new parts. There's a new radiator, new fan blade, new belts. So they've done some rework on it. The engine block itself and the header definitely seems to have been rebuilt. From what I understand, the person that I bought it from, he said the engine will turn over, though he never got it to start. That may not be too surprising because I think there are some things here that still even aren't connected, so I'm not sure how much effort he actually put into it. Here's a view of the passenger side interior. So the seats are individual bucket seats. You can see that the front floor panel is missing. I do have it. It is one of the things that came in the boxes, so I have that to put in there. The actual floor is wood, and this is the original wood from when the car was manufactured. The dash has all of the dials and gauges in it still. I just don't know if they work. Here's another closer up view of the front floor and front dashboard. This happens to be a three-speed, and there you can see a manual emergency brake, parking brake next to the shifter. Now you may notice two pedals on the floor. The left pedal is the clutch, the right pedal is the brake. There is no gas pedal, and that is because on these cars back then, the accelerator, it was a lever that's on the steering wheel. And maybe at some point I'll have a close-up shot to show you that. Here's a picture of the rear seat. These seats are the original. The material is the original, so they look pretty rough, but I'll tell you that the actual frame of both the driver's side, the passenger side, and the rear seat, the frames and the springs are actually in very good condition. While the material, the upholstery, and the padding obviously will need to be replaced, the rest of the material is in fantastic condition. The headliner and the outside canvas are both gone. I do have the headliner. It's very delicate, but it will be used as a means to make a pattern for a new headliner. And here we have my last photo, and that is me and my middle daughter taking a break, sitting next to the car before all the work begins. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of videos about this car as we start the restoration of it, and we'll capture as much as we can, and we'll post any videos that we can. Feel free to post any questions or comments, recommendations if you've ever gone through anything like this, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. Thanks for watching.